Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. Inside the Reconnection Club, members are regularly invited to come together online, to connect face-to-face, to learn in real time, and sometimes to celebrate good news. In an office hour meeting earlier this year, one of our members told the story of his son's return. And when I heard this reconnection story, I was immediately struck by the parent's insights. Fortunately, the meeting was recorded, and afterwards, at my request, he graciously granted permission for me to share his voice with you on this podcast episode. So here is that recording, and on the other side, I'll come back with some thoughts to reflect on what we've heard.
Well, thank you very much, Tina, and hello to everybody who's on here. I wanted especially to come on today to share the story of lack of contact from my son. It was almost about 2 years, and so he informed me in July of 2023 that he needed time to process, and so that I didn't know that meant such a long time, and he just refused to have any contact. When I did text him a couple of times around the Christmas season, on Christmas Day, I got a text that said, "Merry Christmas, this is way too much communication, stop it." And I just absolutely burst into tears. It was very difficult. But during this time, the biggest message that I wanted to share with everybody is what happened to me during these 20 months. And I also think of those who might kind of raise their eyebrows at 20 months. Look, I've been 7 years with this. I've heard of people on these Zooms. So, just my massive respect to those of you who are dealing with this for such long periods. I'm blessed that it recently ended after 20 months, but not knowing what his plans were, was this going to be from now on, it was hard. But I learned, and I think this is one of the first things you, Tina, encourage people to do in your step-by-step process, is start focusing on you. And this is very much what I did. I realized that my mission in life is to grow, and I'm going to say grow spiritually, but whatever that means to the individual, but for my own growth to being the very best I can be in this world. Family fits into that. Family is not the be all and end all of that. And that was a huge lesson I learned at the beginning. It was everything. And I would often be in tears. I would tell him every night, I love you, good night, I love you. That's fine to do that, but it was from a sense of almost desperation. And I learned during the course, probably in the final 6 months or so of this, to change my focus to my own growth. So on March 28th, the display in my CarPlay on my phone lit up with my son's name on it. And so I picked up right away, but I was not like, oh, I have to be careful not to say his name, but it's, oh my gosh, it's so great to hear. I didn't do anything effusive. I just said, "Hi, name, good to hear from you." It was all very kind of breezy. And I wasn't just trying to put that on. I had felt like I had reached the point in my progress where I saw how his presence in my life fit in to the bigger picture, as opposed to was the bigger picture. And so I was very, very happy to talk with him. We talked for 45 minutes. He said, basically, I'm reopening the channels. I'm back. And I look forward, I need my dad in my life, and I look forward to reestablishing our relationship. And even him saying that, I was cool about it. I was like, that's great. I look forward to it. And I was like, just so you know, I'm not going to be trying to catch up from the last 20 months. Let's just be where we are now. Let's just go forward from here. And the biggest thing, the thing that surprised me at the end of that call was, you know what? I don't feel happier than I did before the call. I don't feel happier. Now, I'm grateful that's fitting into the right place where it should fit in. We should be able to have normal communication with our kids, but when we do, we might be duped into thinking it's all about that. And this gave me the opportunity to realize, and I'm still on that higher mission, that I have a mission for my life. and everything else, including family, fits into that, but is not that. And so today he and I are going to have our second conversation. We had quite a normal text thread about scheduling it, and so we seem to be going forward. But just the biggest thing I wanted to share with those who are struggling is really do what Tina has said, which is focus on you and your growth. You're only going to be blessed for that, and know that this will all fit into the picture somehow, some way. And let's not make it the be all and end all, as hard as it is not to when we're in the middle of it. I know, because that's how it was for me.
I'm so grateful to be able to share that story with you, because the first thing it tells us is that reconnection can happen at any time. This parent woke up that day not knowing if he'd ever see his son again, and then he got a call. It does happen. Another thing he mentioned right up front is that his son needed space. And by starting to focus on himself, this dad created space for his son to do his work, while the dad attended to his own development. And the dad found that his previously tight grip on family shifted into being, instead of the whole pie, a piece of the pie for him, a piece of what makes his life good. That realignment may or may not be right for you, but for him it was part of a journey of spiritual growth that he embarked on only during a forced separation. Notice that taking his eye off the ball and presumably not reaching out to his son didn't stop reconciliation from happening. It is safe to look away, to attend to your own healing and growth during estrangement. Another thing that happened in this case is something I've heard about many times before. Reconnection did not automatically create bliss for the parent. For this dad, the relief he had longed for during that first tearful year didn't quite materialize. The reconnection was a positive development, for sure, but it didn't solve every problem or relieve him entirely of struggle. More on that in a moment. One more thing, this parent didn't want to rehash the details with his son on the other side of their separation. He said, let's just go forward. And many estranged adult children want to do exactly that. I have no doubt whatsoever that if his son wants to talk about anything, this dad will be up for that. And having done his own work during this challenging time, he's more aware than ever of his growing edges. In fact, on the call, this dad went on to say that he was still struggling with, quote, the aspects of himself that he wanted to be better about, end quote, indicating that reconnection for him is not the end of the story. And that's true in many, if not most, cases. Reconnection is another phase in parents' relationships with their adult children and themselves. The story for this parent, as for all of us in life, is ongoing. A giant thank you to this thoughtful Reconnection Club member for sharing his story. If you are a member, you can find the entire recording of that call in our office hours archive dated April 2025. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out ReconnectionClub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at ReconnectionClub.com.